This training is presented by the California Student Aid Commission. Welcome to our Community College Bachelor Degree Program Training Module Series. This is Module 1. This module will cover the following topics. We'll begin with an overview of the Bachelor Degree Program. Then we'll show you how to get started so you can begin accessing and ultimately paying your students on your BDP roster. We'll end by pointing out some important reminders about the compliance review process. There are multiple reasons why getting a bachelor degree from a community college appeals to many students. One, they're less expensive than a bachelor from a university. Also, the campuses may be closer to students' homes, which enable them to remain living with their families and reduce their housing costs. There are also fewer impacted programs than at the universities. Another reason may be that students have already developed a connection and support network with their community colleges that they rely on. In addition, graduates typically see significant salary increases over their pre-degree earnings, and these programs are developed in collaboration with local employers to meet specific area workforce needs. Finally, they also meet the state's demand for a trained workforce, and we've seen this trend in certain fields and occupations over the years. In nursing, for example, during the height of the COVID pandemic, and in teaching, where emergency credentials are issued to fill critical teaching vacancies. Here are some additional statistics on community college bachelor degree programs. There are 24 states now offering these programs, which really speaks to the popularity and success of them. 80% of students that enroll are completing their programs within 4 years, and they have significantly higher retention rates as compared with traditional community college programs, as you can see right on the slide. Also, some degree holders are earning as much or more than university graduates in the same field, and it could be because they had prior work experience before re-entering school. The community college bachelor degree program in California began as a pilot in 2015 with just 15 programs offered at 15 campuses. Today, there are 38 community colleges offering over 20 different bachelor programs. This chart highlights just some of the unique programs offered at many of the 116 California community college campuses. If you look at the location of the schools offering these programs, you'll notice that the programs are very specific to those regions. For example, you may remember the devastating Dixie Fire in Plumas County in 2021 that burned over 963,000 acres. So the community college in that county, Feather River College, responded by launching its Bachelor of Science in Ecosystem Restoration and Applied Fire Management in the 2023-24 school year. And you'll see the same regional trend throughout. In areas heavy in agriculture, leading to agricultural pollution, such as the Central and San Joaquin Valleys, Merced, Fresno, Kern County, etc., we tend to see a lot of respiratory therapy programs. Another example, Antelope Valley College offers airframe manufacturing, which makes sense given the local aerospace employers, Lockheed Martin and Northrop Grumman. Finally, if you look at some of the newer programs listed in red, you can clearly see how technology is shaping the types of programs being offered, such as applied cybersecurity and network operations, cyber defense and analysis, cloud computing, drone and autonomous systems, and stem cell and gene technologies. The students enrolled in these programs are also eligible to receive multiple different CSAC programs, including Transfer Entitlement Cal Grant Awards and the Middle Class Scholarship, which are only administered by universities. As you prepare to administer the Cal Grant to your BDP students, know that they may also be awarded other CSAC programs, such as middle class scholarship or specialized programs like the Chiefy Grant for Foster Youth. So be sure to check rosters for all CSAC programs to ensure students are receiving all the state aid for which they're eligible. Also be mindful that each award program or type has its own set of eligibility criteria that financial aid offices are responsible for verifying prior to disbursement. So unless you've worked at a university, these are likely brand new programs to learn. So build in the expectation that there will be a learning curve. Just be patient with yourself and enjoy the learning process. The very first step before you can begin administering any CSAC programs to your BDP students is to create your BDP rosters. Your financial aid office will submit the forms shown on screen: the college cost estimate, web grants access request, institutional contacts, and the electronic funds transfer form. After these forms are processed and approved, CSAC will build a separate BDP roster and web grants, which will end in 01 versus the standard 00 roster that your primary community college campus uses.
It's really important that your campus submits the college cost estimate form every year by the deadline. This is how your campus tuition and fees are programmed into web grants and then used to calculate student financial need. So when a new CCE is not received by the deadline, web grants carries over old cost of attendance information from prior years. And in some cases, this information is years old and likely reflects a lower cost than the current cost, and that directly and negatively impacts our students' eligibility for Cal grants. So in this first section, you'll want to follow the instructions and select your campus's default housing status based on student education level. Next, you want to enter your budget information excluding the tuition. So you would instead enter 0 in the tuition field and enter your enrollment fees in the fees section. Finally, if your campus offers an optional summer term, you're going to end up submitting 2 cost estimates for each campus. 2 9-month budgets, one each for the community college campus and the BDP campus. And then for your 01 or summer budget, again, you're going to submit one for each campus, the community college campus and the BDP campus. And just a quick note, be mindful that students who are using Cal Grant funds for those optional summer courses will exhaust their eligibility faster. So as an example, a full-time enrolled student at a semester school typically uses 50% of eligibility each term for an annual usage of 100%. If that student is full-time enrolled for summer as well, the student will end up using 150% eligibility versus 100% in the school year. A new Web Grants Access Request form is only needed if the authorized official or Web Grant System Administrator are different individuals than those at the 00 traditional community college campus. Web Grants end users will obtain access to the 01 BDP roster by submitting the end user form directly to your campus SA. End user agreements are kept on campus and not sent to CSAC. This is the institutional contacts form. CSAC will create your initial campus contacts from the information your campus provides on this form. After the initial list is created, it is the responsibility of the campus web grant system administrators to maintain and update the list as needed. For the segment, BDP campuses use Public Other from the dropdown. Once your 01 BDP Cal Grant roster has been set up by CSAC, your financial aid director will be notified by email. Community college campuses are assigned Segment 2, while your new BDP campus will be Segment 8 and will be searchable in Web Grants. An important note that is unique to our CCC BDP students as compared to traditional transfer students. Traditional transfers start at the community college but typically finish at the CC before transferring to university. However, your students might be taking both lower division and upper division classes concurrently. In that case, be mindful that the Cal Grant Award is only active and payable on one roster at a time. The advertised cost for a bachelor degree from a community college is $10,560, which is considerably less than our CSUs and UCs, and a major reason why this program appeals to many students. Students enrolled in a bachelor program pay the BDP fee in addition to enrollment fees. To understand what fees students are charged and what the Cal Grant pays towards those fees, it helps to review the fee structure. BDPs are comprised of 120 units, and all 120 units are charged a per unit enrollment fee of $46 for a total of $5,520. 60 of those 120 units are upper division courses and are charged an additional $84 per unit for a total of $5,040. The sum of these two types of fees, the enrollment fees and the upper division fees, amounts to the advertised price of $10,560. Just an FYI on what your California Community College Promise Grant pays. The Promise Grant covers the $46 in enrollment fees, but not the $84 for upper division courses. After your BDP students' Cal Grant awards are moved from the community college roster to the BDP roster, you will report Cal Grant payments exclusively on the BDP roster. But in determining Cal Grant payments, you will account for total units enrolled across both campuses, lower division and upper division classes. As seen in the California Education Code, it's crucial to maintain separate records for both sets of students and to report transactions on the correct roster. After your 01 roster is built, you'll have access to both community college and BDP rosters via the dropdown. If you get mixed up as to which roster you're working with, here are some clues. Your community college roster will typically just have education levels of 1 to 2, indicating freshman and sophomore. You'll also see that the award types are going to be access only. You will not see any tuition or fees awards. Whereas on our BDP roster, you're going to see education levels of 3 and 4 for our juniors and seniors, and you will then see Cal Grant awards for tuition and fees. In this last section of this module, we'll introduce the compliance review, more commonly known as an audit. Reconciliation involves comparing the transactions reported by the school against transactions accepted and reconciled by the Commission. The intent of reconciliation is to ensure schools are in compliance with federal and state laws and regulations, and that Cal Grant funds were reported and dispersed in the correct amounts and in accordance with the Institutional Participation Agreement, or IPA. All CSAC programs and all campuses that administer CSAC programs are subject to audits, including CCC BDP campuses. CSAC uses risk analysis to determine when schools are due for review, and these tips will help to ensure a successful audit. Number 1, provide all the documents requested by your auditor. Reconcile your Cal Grant funds on a regular basis, like weekly or monthly. Keep files well organized and provide a clear audit trail. Perform self-audits. Attend trainings and webinars. Collaborate with colleagues and even external partners. Regularly review desk manuals, campus policies, and procedures, and update them as needed. Thoroughly train your new staff. This goes in tandem with keeping manuals and desk procedures updated, especially as staff depart and leave holes in departmental knowledge. And finally, ask questions throughout the review process. That's how we learn. Besides, our auditors are really nice people. To conclude this training, we'll highlight some watch items to help you avoid these really common audit pitfalls. Number one, do not pay BDP students on the regular community college 00 roster. This results in audit findings. Number two, the initial disbursement of the Community College Entitlement or E3 award must be reported on the standard Community College 00 roster before doing a school change to the 01 BDP roster. And then number three is about Cal Grant B and education level. Cal Grant B is unique in that it pays just access to college freshmen. In years 2, 3, and 4, sophomore, junior, and senior years, Cal Grant B will pay both the access and tuition and fees award components. But an issue arises if a college misreports a freshman as education level 2 and pays tuition and fees. That student will end up being over awarded and will also lose 1 year of Cal Grant eligibility, resulting in the campus being required to repay the amount that was over awarded if that error is not caught before year-end reconciliation. This concludes Module 1 of our California Community College Bachelor Degree Program Training Module Series. We'll leave you with our school support contact information. Thank you for watching Module 1 of our Bachelor Degree Program Training Module Series.